Hello everyone and welcome back. Well, a friend of mine just started playing online, so I wanted to be sure to get one of his battles up here to comment on. So obviously he's still on the small size, just having started. But he does a really good job in this battle, so let's check it out. Alright, for his infantry he's got 2 Katana Samurai and a Yari Ashigaru. His missile complement is 2 Bow Ashigaru and 2 units of Yari Cavalry for his cavalry. The other guy over here, same missile setup. Oh, but 1 more Bow Ashigaru, so he has 3 Bow Ashigarus, 2 Yari Ashigarus, and 3 Katana Samurai, but only 1 Light Cavalry. So we're taking a look at the advantages here. He has a slight infantry advantage, because he has 1 more Katana Samurai. It's actually a pretty good advantage, because when you think about it, he only has 3 units of infantry, so that's 1 Katana Samurai for each of his infantry units. So he's got a pretty decent advantage there in the infantry. Slight advantage in the missiles, having 3 bows as opposed to Volrath's 2. But one thing Volrath does have the advantage in is cavalry, because he only has 1 unit of light cavalry. So Volrath's really going to need to use his cavalry well to win this battle. Alright, so let's see what happens. As you can probably guess, his opponent is just going to camp here by this river. Now this isn't a terrible camping spot, because think about it. Volrath's only advantage is cavalry, and these rivers really do a number on cavalry. It's really bad to have cavalry fighting here. They're really slow and they can't charge very well. So of all the places to camp on this battlefield, knowing the advantages, this is a pretty good spot. Not that I condone camping, but at least it was a spot that reflects the strength and weaknesses of both armies, and it's not just a cliche. Alright, so here we go. So how is Volrath going to attack this position, having 2 disadvantages, and also an area where his 1 advantage is going to be kind of hurt, because he's surrounded on his rear and these flanks here by the river. So the charges are going to be hard to pull off, so let's see how he does it. Now luckily, this guy is still kind of in the camping mindset, so Volrath's skirmishers that he sends up are actually able to do quite a bit of damage to the enemy without taking very many in return. But what the enemy does do well, at least sort of well, is uses cavalry to hit the skirmishers. So let's see how this plays out. Volrath's going to sit tight on top of this hill until he thinks of a strategy. He's going to pull his bows up into these trees. Good move to keep him in the trees. It protects him from the enemy missile fire. He's going to be able to fire out of them still fairly well, but any incoming missiles will be at a disadvantage. Doesn't really matter because he doesn't end up moving his bows to respond, so Volrath is able to freely fire into this guy's infantry. Not a good move on the defender's part. So here we go. He's got his cavalry lined up here on this flank. He's got a spear defending here. Kind of odd, he's got a sword guarding the flank. He needs to keep his swords toward the center where the infantry is going to be hitting. Katanas are anti-infantry. That's where you want them. The spears would probably be better on the flanks here, because the only way Volrath's going to win this battle is if he can flank with his cavalry and smash into the infantry from the rear. So here's a time where you really want the spears on the flanks to guard against that. He has the infantry advantage with the 3 katanas. All he has to do is just sit tight and hope his katanas can grind down the enemy infantry, while the spears can ward off the cavalry, maybe force them into a bad charge. But I guess we should talk about this. Pretty aggressive move, sending the light cavalry right at the bows. That's kind of what you want to do to scare off the skirmishers. Unfortunately, it was in the trees, and he's able to quickly respond. And I'm not sure I could condone that action. As aggressive as I am, sending your only cavalry unit to attack these archers is bad for a couple reasons. Number one, he should have definitely conserved them for when Volrath made his attack, because at least the light cavalry would be able to stop a Yari cavalry charge and pin him down, and then hope the spears can come up and finish him off. Also, he has the missile advantage. I don't know why he felt like he needed to sacrifice his cavalry when he has a missile advantage. He could have just moved up his bows and fired back. Made sure to support him by his spears to make sure the cavalry doesn't hit him. But there were so many better ways to handle this skirmishing. He did some decent damage to the bows, but his cavalry would have been much more useful if he had saved them and used them to take out a cavalry unit, or at least slow them down. Buy some time for a Yari Ashigaru to join the battle, or at least just buy time for his katanas to cut down the enemy in melee. So bad move there, really bad move. That's really going to come back to bite him, because now Volrath is free to use his cavalry and just run all over the place and hit him from any angle. He can try and go after the general. I mean, he has no fast-moving troops to counteract the cavalry. So that's what Volrath's going to do. Really good move on his part. Now that this guy has no cavalry, his is going to be free to just run around and just pound any spot that gets isolated or vulnerable. So here we go. He's going to continue with the skirmishing for a little while. See, look at this. He's just going to let his infantry get hit by these bows. It's not good. He's squandering his advantages. I don't know why he didn't respond. He could have kept him safe with the spears, made sure the cavalry didn't get him. And even if he did, this would have been, it would have been very good, even if the cavalry would have hit his bows. Because if he sacrificed his bows, but in return, he was able to hold down the cavalry while the Yari Ashigaru swarmed them and cut him down, then Volrath loses only advantage. And the katanas will be able to easily win this fight. No doubt in my mind. So a lot of bad moves, just not aggressive enough. Or maybe aggressive in the wrong ways. Just a lot of bad moves. Volrath did a good job on this battle. And the enemy was a little timid. It's not a good thing. So here we go. We're going to see Volrath start to think of a plan here. He's kind of dividing his infantry up, thinking of how to attack. I'll speed it up since nothing's really happening. So here we go. I guess Volrath recognizes his advantage here, so he's going to split his cavalry up into two. And it's just going to mess with the enemy. Try and draw him out of position. Because if he can catch him all disorganized and not in a solid line, he's going to have a pretty easy time holding him down until the cavalry can just outrun whoever's pursuing them, since they're not mounted, and just run into the infantry line and win this battle. It's a really good response. We have the cavalries here on the flanks, and they're going to move around. Defender's going to respond, put his dudes up on the flanks. But one thing you got to be careful with your spears. You really need spears to just respond to the cavalry and move where the cavalry is going. And he didn't really do a good job of that. He has his spears up in his front line, which he shouldn't have. He should have had all swords up here, ready for the infantry. And bring in his spears around the back to just ward off the cavalry. So some bad moves there, definitely. Now Volrath is going into the wedge formation on the charge here. Now, there's nothing wrong with the wedge formation. I don't have any irrational hatred for it. But it makes you a lot less maneuverable. So when you're going in on these hit and runs, you shouldn't use the wedge formation, I think. You should only use it when there's a dedicated charge on a pinned down enemy. But as you'll see, you'll put him into the wedge formation. The enemy's going to respond with his Yari Ashigaru, and he's going to need to maneuver. The general's moving, and he can't maneuver as well, because they have to keep that formation. So they're kind of going to get bogged down a little bit, and the charge doesn't work. I think if you had a little more free form outside of the wedge formation, it would have worked out a lot better. But not a huge deal. He didn't lose anybody. Just the charge didn't exactly work. Now what I might have done here is send both of my cavalry and just nail this katana samurai and hold off on the infantry charge. He kind of went about this a little sloppy, I think. He should have either brought his cavalry, and I would have just hit these katanas, had my infantry just sit back and chill, don't take any fire. Or I would have sent my cavalry and get them ready for the infantry, so when the infantry connects, they'll be able to hit from the flanks and the rear. It doesn't quite do that. It's just going to kind of run off. So he's not a very synchronized attack going on. He's going to take some casualties from these bows. That's a really bad thing, because he already has a numbers disadvantage, so again, every man he loses is a much bigger deal for him than the enemy. So he's going to waste his katana samurai, and this was terrible. He should have had if anybody was going to pursue these cavalry, it should have been a Yari Ashigaru, but he shouldn't have had anybody pursuing these cavalry. You're not going to catch up to him. This is just throwing this unit away. He should have had him up here with the infantry. And Volrath almost lost all of his infantry. They got really, really hurt. So if that katana samurai had been there, could have turned this battle around. So bad move there. I don't know what this Yari Ashigaru is doing. So we'll see what they're doing with their general. Someone uses their general very well, and the other uses it pretty bad. Look what he's doing with his general. Putting him over here, that's going to be way outside the command radius. You don't want your general that far. Volrath does a good thing by planting his general right here with the infantry, so they're going to inspire him. Cavalry's coming back. His attack wasn't very synchronized, but it ended up working out, so I'm not going to complain too much there. But it should have been near simultaneous with his infantry and cavalry engaging. But not bad. Definitely not bad. They're going to hit the Yari Ashigaru. So they're just wavering all over. His general should have been right up in here, ready to rally. Now let's take a look at the numbers here. This Yari cavalry's hurt pretty bad. So is this one. Oops. This one's actually fine. This one's hurt pretty bad, down to about 40 men. His infantry is, every single unit of his infantry is about half strength or below. So his infantry is really running out of time. His cavalry really needs to get up into this battle and make the difference. The bow shooting at his general, good move. I always suggest that. Putting pressure on his general is a great thing to do. So his general's getting hammered here. And if his general dies, battle's over. Now quickly take a look at this force. Should have taken better care of his general, because most of his units still have a lot of guys left in them. I mean, this bow ashigaru is completely full. This one's, there it is. This one's above half strength. This katana samurai is full, 120 men. Vorast units, this katana samurai is down to 47 men. This one's down to 38. And I don't see the Yari ashigaru. Maybe he shattered. I don't see him. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, this Yari ashigaru is gone. 3 men left in the unit, shattered. So this one unit of katana samurai could have probably wiped out the rest of his infantry. But it was not to be, because the general died, so everybody routed. And his cavalry is kind of hurt too. This one, at least, is down to 15 men. So this battle was still winnable if his general hadn't died. Kind of threw him away. You don't want to do that in this game. But good moves by Volrath. Attacked a pretty strong position from a disadvantage and ended up winning. So good job there. So some things to remember. If you're at a disadvantage, doesn't mean you're going to lose the battle. You just got to be smart about it. And the defender didn't respond well. He didn't think about his rock, paper, scissors with spears beating the cavalry. Sent his katana samurai out into nowhere. This was really disorganized and sloppy defense. No skirmishing. Aggression in all the wrong ways. Didn't skirmish with his bows, yet he sent a katana samurai out in the middle of nowhere, away from the battle. Should have had his spears responding to the cavalry and not the katanas. So good job by Volrath to win this battle. And thanks for watching, everybody.